Good evening. This is the August 13th, 2024 make sure you're on board, Conservation Commission meeting. Just want to make an announcement that this meeting is being taped by Area 58 and can be viewed on YouTube. Members in attendance are Kathy Evans, Alan Diaz, and Evelyn. Okay. First order of business on the agenda is 8 Hilda Lane roadway. I believe that's Mr. Webby. Is he here? Okay. There's been a request for a continuance. I just want to point out to the board, I did send a letter to all the engineers that this has been on our agenda for quite some time, that they either need to withdraw without prejudice or to bring the matter to somebody's attention. I did get an email back from the owner. He said that the matter should be settled by this meeting. Again, it isn't, so I'm going to ask the board to grant a continuance, but I think this should be the final continuance, if the board so agrees. This has been on the agenda for months and months and months.
So I make a motion that we continue 8 Hilda Lane roadway until 8/27/2024.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. We have the next one. The next one is the map 120.
So make a motion to, should I continue that one also?
Mhm.
Make a motion to continue 8 Hilda Lane, map 120, lot 2T, to August 27th, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
And then I make a motion that we continue 8 Hilda Lane, map 120, lot 4T, to August 27th, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. I just wanted, for discussion purposes, are we going to keep continuing this beyond 8/27? Is that the board's wishes? Or do you want to see what happens on the 27th?
Let's see what happens unless there's some dire circumstances. See
Okay.
if they can complete it by then, if not.
Yeah, we should
Withdraw,
ask
and
him.
then they can always resubmit when they're,
Okay. We have a motion. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. 3-0. Okay. 105 Palmer Mill Road, DEP number SC 1710581. Mr. Webby?
No, Joe.
What's your pleasure, sir?
He was supposed to present, I'm asking him right now, how come he's not here to present the notice of intent? He said he didn't draft it.
Do you want us to continue it till the
Yeah,
next
we're gonna have to
meeting?
continue it, I don't know why, I just said to him, at the last meeting, we said we'd have a notice of intent, he said, I'll have it ready, he's not even here.
Okay, there is a notice of intent pending, so,
On 105.
correct. We're here tonight for the notice of intent for associated site grading, utility, septic system, and driveway. And that's what we're here for. So, do you want to continue this?
I guess so. I guess, yes, I'll just continue it if he's not here.
Okay.
Make a motion to continue this to August 27th, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Just bear in mind, the 27th agenda is very, very heavy. So,
Could be a long night.
If you can't make it, right, give us a heads up.
okay, 265 Montponce Street, the DEP number SC 1710578. We are in tonight to sign the order of conditions and special order of conditions.
265 Monpont, right?
265, that's not the stormwater one, that would be the notice of intent.
This is the notice of intent.
Okay, that's
It
it?
also says stormwater management.
Yeah, 05s.
I'm not seeing anything.
Let me just make
signed.
sure she didn't put it in the folders. I don't think so. This, the Estridge is not here, is he?
Or they,
Gentlemen, Dave Estridge is not here.
no, Dave is actually on vacation.
Okay,
My name's Dave
he'll
Tyson.
need to contact the office. He needs to sign the original order of conditions. We are going to do our portion, but I got a note here. So we either have to either,
I can sign it.
that I can't, it's in his name. So we either have to have, he's gotta sign it, it's acceptance, and he promises to submit the original proof of recording to the commission. So he can come in next week, if you don't mind.
Gabe is from Thornton Development, so he represents the company.
I'm Dave's business partner, so
I have his name on it, so what do we do? Do we have to change it? So just let him come in, she can handle it.
Oh,
I think that's a special one in here. That's the special one. See the pink?
oh, take it.
Just put that back in there. Just 2 hours.
So is that acceptance form or what is the form that Gabe needs to sign? Just so I can report back.
It guarantees that he's gonna do the recording and provide us with proof of recording. And it's his name, so I just can't just give it to anybody. So,
Does it say Thornton Development?
no, it says Dave's name.
I, David Eastridge, hereby
Yeah.
state. So it's
Okay.
his name.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have the application for the stormwater management for 265?
Maybe that's what this is.
Just take a look at it.
Let me see if there's anything else over there.
That's okay, yeah. I'll read the notice of publication.
Okay.
So you want the plans up on our board?
Yeah.
Which one are we first?
265.
265 is on the agenda first. Next order of business is 265 on Ponce Street, stormwater management hearing. I'm going to read the notice into the record. Notice is hereby given that at a public hearing conducted by the Halifax Conservation Commission with reference to Chapter 146 of the Town of Halifax, Halifax Stormwater Management Bylaw, on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024, at 7 p.m. at the Halifax Town Hall, to consider the stormwater management permit filed on May 13th, 2024 by JDE Civil, Inc., Northeastern, on behalf of the applicant, 265 Monpont Street Realty Trust of South Natick, Mass., for a proposed development of 2 multi-unit dwellings for 55-plus senior housing, pickleball court, pool house with pool, associated parking and garages, and site utilities and grading. Each building will have 36 units for a total of 72 senior housing units, and a stormwater management at the property located at 265 Monpont Street, shown on Assessors Map 64, Lot 10. I'm looking for a motion to open this hearing.
I put a motion that we open up the hearing for 265 Monpont Street.
Second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Could you identify yourself for the record?
Absolutely. Craig Driscoll of JDE Civil, representing Lodi Development tonight for stormwater permit for 265 Monpont Street.
Mr. Driscoll, before we get going, I'm going to interrupt you for a second. There's some confusion on the plans. It seems today someone sent over a new revised plan from dated 7/29, and it's my understanding that the septic portion of this hasn't been approved. So I want to clarify
This one's
that.
under review for septic
Okay.
for the Board of Health. We've received comments that we are responding to.
Okay, so as of this moment, you do not have a septic plan. So your submittal, I'm gonna say, is kind of incomplete, in the sense that if the septic plans do any changes in elevation, then that's gonna affect the stormwater. So I'm gonna let you continue, we just wanna put you on notice on that.
Okay. I don't think it would affect this stormwater. That's not all
Yeah.
the comments that we got, so
Okay,
if we're gonna make any changes to the grading, it'll just be in this little area right here. And the watershed plans will not change. As far as where the water sheds, it's still gonna have a high point in the middle and shut off in these same directions. So it's not gonna have a bearing on that.
okay, you have the floor, sir.
We've been been through the process so far for stormwater. It's been reviewed by Pat Brennan for stormwater. We've addressed comments through this process and through the NOI process. We've addressed all the comments. Everything has been reviewed, revised. All the other boards have reviewed it and provided comments. And I think now it's really just public comment section that we need to open up for, I believe, unless there's anything else from the commission.
Okay. Pat Brennan, I would like, Pat, you're gonna be available?
Yeah.
Okay. Pat, I don't know if you heard me originally, the septic plan hasn't been approved as of yet, so I'm kind of reluctant to make a decision on this whole package based on the fact that we'll be looking at approving some sort of plan with that particular date. But that's going to be your call if you want to ask for continuance. I would like to get
There
all
could be
the...
a condition of approval that if anything changes with the grades or anything, that we come back for the commission to look at it.
Yeah, but you don't want to have to reapply. So once we close the hearing and make a decision, you'd have to reapply. So it, to me, it makes better
Come back
sense.
for a modification.
Okay. So Pat, if you don't mind, if you could address the board. I know there was very extensive back and forth on the stormwater portions. If you could just take a minute, how they accomplished the drainage systems to meet all the stormwater management standards.
Sure.
We're kind of short on mics, so hopefully we can hear you through there.
I'll just stand over here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did
Just
review.
identify yourself for the
Pat
record.
Brennan with PGB Engineering. I reviewed the plan for both the Conservation Commission for the stormwater and also for the Planning Board for site plan review. My last letter that I submitted to the commission was on July 9th. I had submitted an original letter to the commission on June 13th with about 10 comments. The July 9th letter basically says that those comments were addressed. I'll run through the comments real quick, just so you know what they were. The first one was about the Cape Cod berm being placed monolithically with both the binder and finished course of pavement. Excuse me. I request this on every project because what you see is if they put a binder course down and say on a project like this, it's not like a subdivision, it's not as bad, but say it's a year or two before they put the final course down and they don't have a berm on it, there's no way to control the stormwater between the placement of those courses. So they made the revision to the detail to show the berm go down with the binder course of pavement. So that was taken care of. They have infiltration basins. We recommended that they put only 4 inches of loam in the bottom of those so that the infiltration rate is a little bit quicker. If you put like 6 inches of loam, it really slows down the infiltration. 4 inches of loam will allow the grass to grow, which takes a lot of the contaminants out, but it still allows it to infiltrate fairly rapidly. So they did make that. They made that change. As part of that, the sediment 4 bays, you really don't want infiltration through them. So we've asked them to specify 6 to 12 inches of loam to slow that infiltration through there, which they did. I think they specified 6 to 12. So they did exactly what we asked for there. We asked them in the operation and maintenance plan to specify mowing more than twice per year. The DEP stormwater standards recommend twice per year mowing. It's been my experience that if people actually very rarely mow them twice a year, if they mow them at all. Then these basins become overgrown with woody vegetation, and they're just a hassle to try to rejuvenate if they get clogged. So I asked them to specify routine, regular mowing, basically with the other grass surfaces. So it's basically maintained almost as grass, even though it's a basin. So they made that change. I asked them for some riprap erosion control at some of the flared end sections that they hadn't previously showed it at. And they made those changes. Those were mainly to the basin to the north there. One was for, I think, a discharge coming from the pool area. But they made that change as well. They have subsurface infiltration system. We asked that they make the inspection reports on them a minimum of 6-inch diameter. Typically, they're only 4-inch. Trying to look down a 4-inch pipe down 5-6 feet, you're really not going to see anything. So they did specify 6 inches, so they took care of that for us. They had a kind of a funky connection from the roof drain from building number 2, which is the one to the east there. They showed it coming into a drain line without a manhole. I asked them to either detail that or provide a manhole, and they provided a manhole. So they did do that. My next comment was about they have proprietary treatment units, and I just asked them, they had, I think, quarterly, they had 2 different inspection frequencies in their O&M. I just asked them to make that consistent. They made them quarterly, so they took care of that. My next comment was in relation to, in these subsurface infiltration systems, they have an isolator row. What the isolator row is, it's a row of chambers that has filter fabric wrapped all the way around it. And what that does is that provides some pre-treatment. It doesn't allow the sediment to get into the stone around it. And it's not Greg's issue. It's actually the storm. It's the Storm Tech manual. Their details don't show the fabric around the isolator rows, even though they show pictures of it. So I just asked them to specify that on the detail to make it clear to the contractor that they need that fabric around the isolator rows, which he did. Your stormwater management regulations require granite curb inlets at all catch basins adjacent to curbs. And they made that change. They had Cape Cod berms specified throughout. They did make the change to show granite curb inlets at the catch basins, so they took care of that. And then my last comment was basically stating that they will comply with the stormwater management regulations, performance standards, specifically section 7C3B, because this proposed stormwater Between the basins and the subsurface infiltration system, they have stormwater storage capacity on site of over 75,000 cubic feet, which is more than 4.5 inches of runoff from all impervious surfaces on site. Your regulations require you either treat to a certain standard or you retain the equivalent of 1 inch, so they're 4.5 times that, what they're retaining on site. So they're well in excess of what they need to do to meet that standard. So I just pointed that out, just so you knew what that was. So that's, that was my review and how they responded to those comments. So I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Pat?
No.
No.
Okay. Thank you, Pat. Greg, could you just take a minute and show the audience how you're picking up all the stormwater? You've got a series of basins. I'm assuming they're deep sump basins, which are the
Yes.
requirement. You can maybe point some of that out. We want to make sure there's no effluent heading back towards Mont Ponce Street.
Yep, that's correct. We've got 2 catch basins at the apex of the curves here to catch the water before it goes on Mont Ponce Street. Several, catch basins throughout the site. This area gets directed into this basin. This basin is sized for the future senior center, although that's not fully designed yet. We've accounted for that area in there. Same going throughout the site.
How many more basins do you have throughout the site?
Um,
You got the roadway basins, anything in the parking area?
Oh yeah, we got, let's see, here, a few down here, so we have catch basins here. Here, there. So we have plenty of stormwater collection for the impervious surfaces through the site. All impervious surfaces go through the treatment system and stormwater system for discharge. This is the watershed map, so this whole area goes to the underground system. This area goes to that basin. The pickleball courts go into a 2 different rain gardens on each side of the pickleball courts, and then the overflow goes into the A-series wetland, overflows to that, which has a connection out here. So there was a pipe historically that was connected across through here. As I said, this section of the site goes to the infiltration system, and then this section of the site right here, this building, this pavement, all goes to the southerly basin. And that's all the impervious areas are captured, treated, and sent to the BMPs on site.
And that treatment is what? They go into deep sump catch basins?
Yep, I can go through the report. The treatment train, it's deep sump catch basins, sediment forebay, infiltration basin, prior to discharge, deep sump catch basins, isolator row, prior to discharge. And we do have some, as Pat mentioned, proprietary units, so we're using contact CDS swirl units that separate out the solids. And
So you're using a deep sump basin?
Yep.
And that's gonna collect some of the solids?
Mhm.
And then it's gonna go directly, you don't mind going back to the other page? Because you're gonna real technical with that. So that first center basin, that's a retention or detention basin?
infiltration basin.
Okay, so is that where all your infiltration is going into?
Nope. That's an infiltration basin. These are rain gardens. This is a subsurface infiltration basin, so it's gonna infiltrate water as well, and it'll overflow in higher storms. And this is an infiltration basin as well.
Can you go back to the other page? One question that did come in, and I'm gonna turn it over to the audience once we get done, is you've got a discharge that's going into that wetlands area, which is adjacent to the, that's adjacent to that, over there. Now, you got a wetlands area.
Yeah.
So, how much do you think is gonna go into that area? One of the questions that pop up is there gonna be any effect on the condos
Oh,
from the groundwater?
condos, the elevation up here is much higher. This will discharge into this wetland right here, there's a pipe up here, so all the water flows out through the site this way.
Any of the board members got any questions regarding which way the water's going, how it's being treated?
No, I don't.
No, I'll second.
Okay. I am going to open this up to the audience. We have a little issue with the microphone, so I'm going to ask that this microphone be used. And I'd like to have you identify yourself, your name, and your address for the record. Okay. Did I, ma'am, I did it. Is that satisfy your question? You had asked me earlier
Yeah,
about...
because I'm abutting them to the condos beside.
Okay, all right.
And I just want to make sure I'm not going to get flooded because I have a French drain under my over 12 units.
Okay.
And I want to make sure it's not going to come in and drown us out.
Nope, it's gonna, as you know, if you've seen this area out there, this wetland is much lower than the grade around it, so we're draining down to the lower grade.
Yeah, but see, I'm low. The condos across from me are higher.
Okay.
So,
Okay, right, yeah, if any more questions, I gotta get you to come up, because they have someone that keeps minutes, so we need to know
Oh, all right, now.
who speaks, okay. Is there anybody in the audience that has any particular questions? If you don't mind?
My name's Joseph Tonello. I own 284 Montponton Street, the Shelby Plaza, across the street. I just have a question. How many bedrooms? They keep saying how many units, but no one's telling us how many bedrooms are in each one of those buildings. And my question is, then what is the water flow out of those bedrooms that's going to affect the rest of the groundwater where these drains are going?
So that's more of that's a Board of Health question, so that's in the septic system.
It is a Board of Health question, but I would just as soon address it. I think, you know, being in a butter to both parcels, and he's been inundated with water, so I think it's kind of appropriate, it's a very simple question, how many
Yeah, they're
bedrooms?
not saying how many bedrooms are in all these buildings.
They're on the,
There is a design flaw, and I was under the impression that there are 2 to 3 bedroom units, but I have not been part of the whole process.
yeah, it's on the septic design plans that have been submitted to the Board of Health, so those are public record. They don't have the Board of Health stuff with me at the moment. The overall total flow is like 9,980.
Out of 72 units?
Yes. We have
So if they're all 2 bedrooms,
24 one-bedroom units, and then the rest are 2-bedroom units. And for over 55,000, the flow is 150 gallons per day for a
So-
2-bedroom unit.
so there's no 3-bedroom units going in either one of these buildings?
Nope. And these are 55 plus.
So it's 2, then it's 52, that's
So that's a great.
That's correct, there's no three there.
Was that the correct breakdown? 24 one-bedrooms, and the rest are all.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
That's from memory because
Is it all one bathrooms in all these units, or?
The 2-bed would have 2
Oh,
baths.
probably two.
The
Okay,
one bedroom.
just address yourself.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
It's Gabe Tice with Thorndike Development.
Okay.
So the 2-bed would have 2 baths, the 1-bed would have 1 bath.
The baths don't matter, it's the number of bedrooms.
What's that?
So the
That's correct.
bathrooms themselves don't.
Joe, see everything through the board.
Okay.
So my question is, the number of bathrooms in the house doesn't matter, it's the number of bedrooms that they're putting in these units to figure out how much water is going in there to make sure these drainage ditches handle all the groundwater that's getting,
That's correct.
that's my concern with it.
Okay, so we're not here, the septic plan, to my knowledge, has not been approved. So I don't believe this board's gonna take any final action until that is approved. Our biggest concern right now is the stormwater. So that's what we have to concentrate on. So, do you have any other questions? Do you mind just coming up, identifying yourself?
Patricia Sullivan, B15 Leiden Lane, Halifax Meadows. I know you said that the groundwater would not be affected at the condominiums. Halifax Meadows did a big water diversion project some years ago, and it alleviated flooding in the basements, especially in A section. Is that
I'm in
right?
D.
In D, and along the property. Can he guarantee that this project isn't going to disturb anything and create that happening again to us? Can you guarantee that our groundwater is not going to be affected by this project? I mean, we did, like I said, a big water diversion project some years ago, and it worked. It took care of the flooding in the people's basements. Can you guarantee that that's not going to happen with this project?
Yeah, the calculations and everything that I've prepared and have been reviewed by the town's engineer have confirmed that we're designing this project per the requirements of stormwater management, which is part of the Wetlands Protection Act and DEP regulations. So we have to first create this map right here, which shows where the water drains. So for this area right here, that you're in these condos up in here. So some of the land from up there flows onto this property, and then the high point through here, this all flows into this wetland here. There's a culvert through here, and it all flows out this way. So this right here is our design point, where the water leaves inside of this point right here. There's another design point here, where from this high point, it all flows down this way towards this wetland. And then all this right here flows to this wetland internally here, but then it connects out this way and eventually up to there. So in the current existing addition, there's no flow, no overland flow from this site that goes on to the condos that to the north. And that's how this is what's proposed, which shows us having stormwater management controls. It's the design.
I don't know that that answers your question.
No, because I wanted to guarantee that if it should happen, who's going to help pay for it?
Can I make a suggestion? Is there feasibility, the possibility of installing a monitoring well on the northerly part of that property just to assure, I mean, with the heavy rains that we've gotten, I understand the process, I understand the grading process. They live there. They've had a lot of floods over the last 25 years. If you install the monitoring well, I guess you could really observe in the fact that if in the event we had some catastrophic rain, I understand the process, but I'm not going to go down to their place and with the sump pump to get the water out. That's just a thought. I don't think he can guarantee that. I think a monitoring well might help. If you've got a basis now, and all of a sudden when this thing is built, if that groundwater after heavy rain goes up a foot.
So a quick question, what's the elevation between this project and the condos? You said it was higher up on the condo side, that it goes down that way?
Elevation 75 up here.
Yeah.
And these wetlands down here are 59,
What's going on?
55 right here. That's the design point.
What's
The water leaves inside.
your road elevation?
Proposed road, 74, 73, 71.
Okay. So your road elevation is pretty much the same elevation as the condo property?
Yep.
Joe, just, if you got a question, Joe, just come on up. Got another question for him? Just trying to keep the,
Yeah, I was just, are they bringing the elevations up on this property at all? Or what we see over there today is what the elevations are going to be?
Mr. Driscoll?
We are raising some portions of the site, I think in the center. Overall, I believe it's in that fill because the previous projects had higher grades in the middle, and then your picture of the previous project was one of the foundations right here, that driving garages around the back. So, yeah, the grades up here will be raised, and over here, right here, those are going to remain the same. There'll be a wall up here for the pool. The pool's going to look higher, and the banner building, the foundation of that will be a somewhat of a retaining wall as well, and a grade back down. So that's overall, to answer your question, yes, it's more, there'll be more material raising portions of the grades of the site. Just for you, pretty much the same.
So at that point, if the condos are higher at this point, they may not be in the future.
But the grades along the side of it, this is a wetland. We're not touching that. We're not grading that. And in here, this I don't know yet. That's a different project.
To sort of answer this question too, what's the distance from the condo project to the top of the infiltration basin? Distance, the lot line? At about 120 feet?
From here to here.
Yes.
Yeah, about 110.
Is it,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Good answer.
is it a fair assumption that the material you're going to be excavating from the retention ponds, and there's going to be a minimal amount coming out of the buildings, is all going to be retained on site?
Yeah.
Okay.
So to satisfy the condo people, could they put a rubber barrier on the north side of that drainage basin? Like we do with septic systems? To keep
I'm
it,
going to tell you from experience, rubber barriers is strictly for surface water. The impact at the condos is going to be groundwater. There's going to be infiltration of groundwater coming back up, so it'll be rainwater. Infiltration barrier wouldn't be helpful. Plus, they're working within the wetlands area. We're not going to allow that.
okay.
So Greg, if you don't mind, the top line on this infiltration basin is elevation what? I can't see that.
70.
Yes, 70?
And that's 71 right there, so the
Okay.
berm around it slips up a little bit.
And the condo elevation is 75. So you got a 4 feet differential. So it drops down 4
From the
feet.
top of the basin, from the top of the basin.
From the top of the basin.
Okay,
And then the basin should be 2 feet above, the bottom of the basin should be 2 feet above modeling, I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
actually, I think it might be further.
Okay, that's okay, as long as you get your 2 foot minimum.
I mean, technically, it's the same amount of rainwater just being concentrated in different spots on the property.
That would be a correct assumption. You can answer
And
that.
that's kind of my job. What I do is I study the property, how much water's coming off it in the existing condition. And when I design buildings and for paved areas and all that, I have to design these stormwater basins in order to mitigate that, so I don't have any more water leaving the site post-development than there is before we start building.
Yeah, some has to be recharged, some has to be.
Yep.
So for the audience sake, for retention or detention basins, you're building the one at the north part of the property. That's
That
you're
one's
gonna,
already partially done from the previous.
it's okay, but that's what you're gonna construct.
Yep.
And then the bottom portion of the property, that's what you're gonna construct.
Yep.
The other two wetlands areas are there.
This and this.
Well, 3 wetlands areas.
Yep.
Okay.
And, for the pavement that's going to be constructed for the pickleball courts, we have rain gardens next to those, and then the subsurface system. That's underneath the parking lot, the drainage system.
Okay. Do we have
So
Just to
Just
clarify,
identify yourself.
Joseph Tonello again. Just to clarify for the people here that don't know the difference between a retention and a detention. The only reason I know is I had to build it, so
Correct. So Jake,
I'm sure not one person here knows the difference.
Okay. I'll let you explain that. And just so that you know that this is part of the stormwater process, certain amount of effluent has to be retained and detained and then,
Infiltrated into the ground.
so why don't you just,
Sure, so a detention basin would be a basin that just holds the water, it doesn't allow any water to recharge into the ground, might be lined or have clay liner or something like that. It's just to hold the water back, let it out slowly. An infiltration basin that we have designed here, to use the subsurface on that, is designed for water to infiltrate through the bottom and recharge the groundwater table. So it not only holds the water back, lets it out slowly, it also recharges the groundwater at the same time.
Pat, if you don't mind, I believe you addressed that in your review because one of the basins had too much loam and the other one you wanted some additional loam to make sure that when detained and,
Right, so Pat Brennan again, PGB Engineering. So in the stormwater standards, there's a couple of things that you need to do. The main thing is that you cannot increase post-development runoff off-site, which Greg reviewed. The other thing is that you're supposed to kind of mirror what happens today. With what goes into the ground now, you basically have to put the same amount back into the ground in the post-development. That's why he has the infiltration basins designed to put back into the ground what's going in the ground today. Obviously, when you pave a site, you're blocking it from going in the ground, so you have to put these artificial, we call them artificial, but they're either the open air basins or the subsurface infiltration basin. That's the mechanism to get that water back into the ground that goes in the ground today. So that's what the whole design premise is based on. And what that does, the stormwater, the Mass DEP regulations, they really only require you to mitigate the rate of runoff, which is how quickly the runoff runs off the property. I always look at the volume of runoff as well, because the volume can also be an issue. And when you design these infiltration basins, if you put all the volume back into the ground that goes in today, then you don't increase the volume that leaves the site either, which is what they've shown with their design. So what leaves the site today will not be increased under proposed conditions based on the design that he's come up with and I'll review.
so in English, every bit of stormwater will be retained on site. Joe, just I'm trying to keep the background stuff down. All the present effluent that's gonna be on this site will be retained on site.
Correct. As much water there's no more volume of runoff that's going to leave the site under proposed conditions than leaves the site today.
Okay, do we have any,
Produced.
Yeah.
do we have any other members of the audience, any butters that have any questions or concerns?
I got one.
I'm sorry. Identify yourself for the record, please.
Amy Troop, 10 Hillside Avenue. So stormwater management doesn't take into consideration 72 apartments worth
Ma'am,
of
excuse me, hold on.
water
Yeah, just-
from showers, toilets, sinks that will now
Ms.
be
Troop, address the question to me.
I am, I'm
Okay.
just looking at the plan.
Okay.
Leaching into the ground and then therefore making it a fuller sponge. So none of that's included in stormwater, and we're not considering 72 units of apartments and their water use as extra water on the site.
It is considered, and it is,
You understand the question?
yes.
Okay.
Just saying that, because we're putting homes in here, we're gonna add more water to the groundwater by having a septic system on the site. If stormwater management does, and Title V does account for that, because we need to have certain separation from the stormwater devices to the septic system. We have to have separation from there and to allow the system to do its thing without interfering with the other,
Okay.
with each other.
Well, I'm a little confused about why we wouldn't have the amount of bedrooms as part of this presentation then, since it is stormwater, because it wouldn't just be Board of Health septic system.
Well, it doesn't.
I disagree.
Well,
The Board of Health
he
is
just said
having, the Board of Health is having a meeting tomorrow night, so.
Well, he just said it, so we should know tonight.
So-
It's not really just a Board of Health issue. If it's part of stormwater, then we should have exactly how many
That's true.
bedrooms.
Board of Health is Board of Health.
This
Stormwater
this
is
isn't
storm.
complete.
I
Because,
understand the plan is not complete, and we're gonna take that into consideration. And I do agree that the increase in bedrooms or the septic system is gonna have some impact on the water table.
right, so it should
the
be
amount-
included in stormwater.
It's not.
Well, it
doesn't.
should, well, you just
Okay.
said it was, he said it
Okay.
was, so
Okay.
which is it?
Okay, got
It
another question?
isn't or it is?
You have another question?
Pat Brennan, can I please ask if stormwater includes any of the septic issues?
Mr. Brennan?
So the stormwater, so you get two different things here, like Ms. Troop mentioned. You have effluent from the septic system, and you have not effluent, but you have discharge from the stormwater systems. The stormwater requirements, Mr. Diaz mentioned it earlier, you need at least 2 feet of separation between the bottom of your infiltration facility and seasonal high groundwater. If you have less than 4 feet, you have to do what's called a mounding analysis. They have more than 4 feet based on their test hole data between the bottom of their infiltration basins and seasonal high groundwater. So they didn't have to do the groundwater mounding analysis for the stormwater systems, because the way that Mass DEP looks at it, the way the science looked at it when they came up with the standards was, if you have more than 4 feet of separation, you're not going to create a mound underneath those basins that's going to rise up that far. Less than 4 feet, they want you to do that analysis. On a septic system, if it's over 2,000 gallons per day, you have to do that mounding analysis. So that's part of their submission to the Board of Health. They have to do the mounding analysis on the septic system, because the septic system, depending on the perk rate, you either need 4 feet of separation or 5 feet if it's a CNA material and you have 2 minutes per inch or less perk rate. That separation has to be, you have to add the groundwater mound in for that separation. So that's why they have to do that. So, and I haven't seen the Board of Health submission, that somebody else is reviewing that. But all of these, the groundwater mounding requirements are due to, you look at them due to looking at the impacts of both the stormwater and the septic system on the groundwater elevation. And that's what's required. They've met what's required with the stormwater because they have more than the 4 feet of separation. Again, I don't know what's going on with the septic right now, but I assume, well, they're not going to get approved unless they show that that mound, they still have the separation, adding in that groundwater mound. So.
And I can confirm, even though it's a Board of Health issue, we did perform a mounding analysis and submitted that with the plans, and Mr. Delano, who was reviewing for the Board of Health, hasn't commented on it. So he's okay with it, as far as we can tell.
Any other questions from the audience? Okay. Ms. Chu?
I would like to know the number, because a few minutes ago we were asking what that number was between the groundwater. I would like to know what that number is.
The separation of groundwater.
Thank you. Yeah, so what we were just talking about, Pat, where it has to be over 2 feet and then the over 4 feet and the mounding, what is that criteria called?
It's, well, they have to be, they have to be 2 feet, but if they're less than 4 feet, they need to do that mounding analysis.
Right.
They are more than 4 feet above groundwater in all 3 of their infiltration systems.
Right, and so what would that number be called is what I'm asking you.
The separation,
Okay. Yeah.
it's just separation from groundwater.
Okay. Can I have that, what that number would be, please?
So if we're basing 2A, we have 4.48 feet of separation. 4.14 feet for the infiltration system, and I'm trying to find it for the other one. I'll have to do a little thing, because that was an existing basin that were,
Let me ask, Mr. Brennan, did you verified the location of the basins? And I think I sent you an email on that too, on model.
That's correct. I don't have the information ready, but
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
I did verify.
I can tell you that I reviewed the plan. I sent a comment to Mr. Brennan just to make sure, and he verified the fact that all the basins are well out of the groundwater.
Okay, and what about the flow outside? So we got into the flow of the septic system, it was a certain number. Can we have that number repeated, please?
No, I don't. We're gonna stay on stormwater management. So
Well,
if
yeah,
you wanna
this-
stay on stormwater management, that's fine.
I wanted to know what the flow out was because we were talking about bedrooms
Flow out of what?
out of the property, out of all of the showers, the toilets, all of
so the
that.
sewage flow.
Mhm.
That's 9,840 gallons per day.
So I'm confused about why a house with a 2-bedroom needs a 1,500 septic tank, but we're looking at putting in 72 times 2-bedroom units, and we're not looking at over 10,000. That doesn't make any sense to me.
You got a hearing tomorrow night with the Board of Health?
I did.
I still don't understand how this wouldn't be
Is that correct?
considered in stormwater.
Okay. Do we have anything else from the audience?
It should be.
Anything else from the board at this point?
No, not at this point.
Okay. Greg, I'm just, it's your call. We have a certain time frame to make a decision on this. Again, I'm not comfortable with the plan being completed, so I'm gonna suggest that you ask for continuance. We will continue the hearing. If there's any new evidence, fine, or I can close the hearing, but if we do close the hearing, we gotta make a decision based on that plan and it's incomplete, so it's your call.
And what, it's incomplete because we don't have septic approval?
You don't have a complete plan. I think you're at the end of the permitting process, my opinion. You're at the end of the permitting process. You know, we're gonna pretty much be the last board you're gonna see. We should be able to look at a plan, everything that's going on the site. The buildings, the drainage, the runoff, all the pavement, you know, planning board has reviewed all that. They've agreed with everything. Now we're gonna look at all the impervious areas, we're gonna look at all the elevations and make a decision based on all the runoff is going to those particular areas. I don't see that you have that. I don't see that the septic system, if you did a mounding analysis and it has to be raised, that's gonna increase the height.
We did a mounting analysis.
Okay.
It's already established.
Okay, that's okay. Once, in my conversations with the health department, there were still some issues to be resolved. And his comment was that there would be compliance with MS4. So it would be my suggestion that you continue it. And once we get all that final analysis, there's nothing else you're putting in there, then I think we can make a decision. But I think we're the last board that's gonna look at this situation, so. Hold on. So it's up to you if you want to, or, okay, so just hold on. Ms. Troop, you have another comment?
Yes, I do. I have 2 now. Point of order, the planning board has not approved this site plan. And the other thing is I would like to ask as a resident, why isn't Ecosystems here?
Right? So, did you want to make a request in writing?
Can I get an answer for that?
No, there is no answer.
I want an answer for that. I asked
Okay.
a question.
Right.
Why aren't they here?
So, you know, like I said, continue, we'll
Oh,
continue
Yeah.
this hearing, we'll continue working with Board of Health, get all those squared away, and then we'll come back after this.
Okay. So would you want to make an oral request to continue it until August 27th?
Yes. The 27th.
Okay.
That's the next meeting, correct?
Okay, what I'm gonna do is, I'd be looking for a motion to continue this.
Okay, I make a motion that we continue the stormwater management plan for 265 Monpont Street to August 27th, 2024.
Looking for a
I'll
second?
second the motion.
Okay. Go to a vote? Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Okay. Please provide the office with a written request tomorrow.
Okay.
You
And
can-
we could, do we need an extension of time for anything like that, or no?
Pardon me?
Do we need an extension for time to act or anything like that?
Well, I would extend it to the 27th, then that'll give us the 21
Yeah.
day.
Do we know what it is now? Like-
Right now you are at 9-3.
Okay.
If we close this hearing tonight, if I did my math correct, yeah, you'd be at September 3rd.
Do you have a buffer just in case you don't get
Okay.
a quorum?
Okay.
Okay, so we have a motion, Ms. Secretary, went to a vote? Okay.
Yep, we did, all set.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda, unless somebody wants to take a break, is 266 Monpont Street. Do you mind? I'll read that into the record.
Sure, where is it?
Probably over there someplace. Greg, could you give it some thought on that monitoring well? I don't know how expensive that is, but I think that would give some satisfaction to the owners over there.
Because I'm just reading this in here. I can read it if I just.
You will? Okay.
That's right there, right?
Yep, just shoot that
Okay.
section.
All right, so we have Town of Halifax Conservation Commission. Notice is hereby given of a public hearing conducted by the Halifax Conservation Commission with reference to Chapter 146 of the Town of Halifax, Halifax Stormwater Management Bylaw on Tuesday, August 13th, 2024 at 7 p.m. at the Halifax Town Hall to consider the stormwater management permit filed on March 28th, 2024 by JDE Civil, Inc. of Northeastern Mass on behalf of applicant Thorndike Development, DBA 265 Monpont Street Realty Trust of Natick, Mass. for proposed 3-story, 30-unit, 55-plus senior housing building, detached 12-car garage building, parking lot with associated grading, drainage and utilities for the development at the property located at 266 Monpont Street, shown on Assessors Map 63, Lot 8A. Copies of the filing are available at the Conservation Commission's office at the Halifax Town Hall, per request via email peggyseltzer@halifax.mass.org or by calling 781-590-3872 or 781-293-6768.
Thank you. I'd be looking for a motion to open the hearing, stormwater management for 266 Monpont Street.
I put a motion that we open up the hearing for 266 Monpont Street.
We have a second?
I second.
Okay, 3-0. Mr. Driscoll?
All right, good evening, everyone. Greg Driscoll of JDE Civil here tonight, thanks for Thorndike Development. And this gate from Thorndike Development. So this project is across the street from the one we previously spoke about earlier tonight. Since we've been through comments with the Board of Health on the septic system, we had to reconfigure some of the utilities on the site, so that the sewer line exits the middle of the building now. That allows us to bring up the sewer line and the tanks and all the connections, so it's everything is not as deep into the ground and easier to build and out of groundwater. In doing so, we split. This is the same size system, same number of chambers from the original design. We just separated them out a little bit, and so we could run that pipe through there. And each row is connected with pipes, so everything hydraulically is connected. So hydraulically and with the model and the calculations that we've done, nothing's changed. We did raise the parking lot about 6 inches maybe, and the grade on top of the system, 7 or 9 inches, something like that. So minimal changes, and I think the finished floor elevation of the building came up a little bit as well, in order to accommodate all the changes for the septic. So the parking area and the building all drain into catch basins on the site, into this central main infiltration system, subsurface under the ground. High point here and a high point over here. Right there. So this remaining portion of the driveways that grade go back down to the existing grade of Montponset Street. We have, in order to treat this section of the driveways, we have a 4-bay right here. So the water feds into this, goes down to here, into this rain garden with another subsurface infiltration system to give us enough capacity for the flows that sees. So this is the pre-development drainage areas, much smaller site. Majority of the site drains in this direction, and portion of the site, very small portion, drains out to Montponset Street. So this is design point 1, and Montponset Street is design point 2. And these are the areas as they're split up and sent into the infiltration system, 4-way, the rain garden, and infiltration system. So all the paved areas are directed into treatment systems, treated for TSS. It's all infiltrating to the groundwater. Non-paved areas, grass area flows off the site. Overland, a little bit here, small sliver, and then this grass area over here. There's a small portion of the site to the north that comes onto our site, and we'll come together and follow it that way. That's kind of the overview of the system. Pat Brennan has reviewed this project as well and provided comments, which we responded to through the planning board process. And if you want to hear from him,
Pat, could we listen to your comments? I know they were very lengthy, and I think you reviewed this 2 or 3 times.
For the record, again, Pat Brennan reviewed this for, this one I started reviewing for the planning board before they went to conservation, so all of my letters were addressed to the planning board, even though I reviewed it for stormwater. My first letter that I wrote, I reviewed it first back in April, again in June, twice in June, and then once in July. This one, as Greg said, that they meet all the standards. If you recall in the last one, I said that they were retaining like 75,000 cubic feet. This one, it's around 8,000 cubic feet that they're retaining with this storage on site, which is a little bit more than double what the 1-inch rule is in your stormwater regulations. So they still meet that regulation. As Greg mentioned, they're cleaning it up with the 4 bays, the rain garden, deep sump catch basins. And on this one, they did have to do mounding analyses. They did do those, they provided those to me, I reviewed them. The groundwater mound at most, I think, was maybe 9 inches below these systems. It wasn't a very big mound that formed underneath the infiltration systems. And like Greg said, all the impervious areas are being directed to those infiltration systems. Post-development runoff toward the the west, southwest. In proposed conditions is less in both rate and volume than it is in existing conditions. Same thing with going out to Montponton Street. What they did do, which was a request of the highway surveyor, was to add additional catch basins and a swale at the northern driveway and catch basins at the southern driveway to ensure that no stormwater was flowing off the site into Montponton Street.
So we had some grades in here to have a little bit of a home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me finish up.
Yeah, so they did do that at the request of the highway surveyor. Couple of other tweaks that he made, like he mentioned, they separated the large infiltration system out back, but again, it's the same size, it has the same capacity that the combined one had. So everything still is in line with the plan that I reviewed previously. I did look at all of this when he did submit it last week or the week before, whenever that was, just to confirm that everything was still the same, and I'm comfortable with it. Still meets all of your stormwater regulations at this time.
Okay, I do have one question. The fire chief made some requested changes, and I think you did your calculations for the basins to accommodate for the width of the access roadway.
Yeah, this road is wide.
Okay, that's where the fire chief wanted to make sure.
Yeah,
And the fire chief has determined that he can get his apparatus in there based on his comments and based on his recommendations.
That's correct.
Any other questions? Any questions from the board for that?
No.
Okay. I got a couple of questions because you grade differential from Montponton Street to that front elevation, and from what I can tell, is somewhere around 4 to 5 feet. So basically, you're going to have 4 or 5 feet of dirt, and then you're going to have a 3-story building on top. Did you accommodate the storm runoff into that infiltration basin? The roof drains were all accommodated, all accounted for, accumulated in there? Okay. Now, the infiltration basin, is it going to be the Storm Tech, same design as across the street? Wrapped in filter fabric with stone?
Yep. Those are the details for it. And we'll also have a treatment unit prior to discharge into that. Proprietary treatment unit, deep zone catch basins, proprietary treatment unit.
Can you kind
Isolated
of
room on the
Can you kind of explain to the audience, I mean, I think everybody knows what a catch basin is. Nowadays, they have to be deep in order to get what they call TSSs, which are total suspended solids. That's the amount, that's the stuff that's in the effluent. So what is that proprietary unit going to do for the stormwater?
Okay. So a deep zone catch basin is, it collects the stormwater. Two different things. So deep zone catch basin So deep zone catch basin has 4 feet below the invert of the pipe going out with a hood on it. Keeps floatables from going out into the effluent stream, or the stream coming out, and settles solids in the bottom. The proprietary treatment unit does the same thing but more efficiently in that it's a swirl chamber. So water comes in, swirls around this swirl chamber in here, which separates out the soil suspended solids more efficiently. That settle down to the bottom of the structure, and then for the well-furnished maintenance plan that Mr. Brennan had commented on, has to be checked so often and pumped out, and empty of all the segments and everything that accumulate.
Okay, so catch basin, proprietary unit, into the ground.
Yeah, and then actually, there's even more treatment with the system, the chamber system, because those have isolator room with the filter out. So this first row right here has filter fabric in it, which also treats the total system itself.
I do have one more question, if you don't mind. You didn't discuss maintenance and operation. Have you reviewed their maintenance and operation manual or proposal?
Yeah, this was pretty much a mirror image of the one across the street, and I did request the same changes, although obviously there's no mowing in this one.
Correct.
Because it's subsurface, but it was the same frequencies with the quarterly inspections and maintenance that we requested across the street for the subsurface. So yeah, we reviewed all that as well.
Okay. Based on, I hope the board's got a clear picture of what's going in out back. The area down by the street, you've got some sort of infiltration basin there and then a rain garden.
This is, rain garden here. And
What's that thing right above it? Is that's your infiltration?
Yep. So we added chambers to this rain garden in order to get enough volume to treat both sides of it.
So again, you've got your catch basin there, then it's gonna go into that infiltration basin there, then if there's an overflow, it's gonna go into that area there.
This is actually a biodetention area, which has plantings, and it's an LED type of pest management practice, which treats more than just TSS. So.
And Pat, you did review that to make sure that
Yeah.
right amount of material.
Yeah,
And
like he said, the bioretention cell, same thing as a rain garden. Those they actually take some of the metals out of the stormwater as well, not just total suspended solids. So he mentioned LID, that's low impact development for people that don't know what that acronym is, but that's one of the things that DEP and many of the stormwater agencies are trying to push everybody to go into those types of systems. He's got the one here, and he mentioned he had the two next to the pickleball courts across the street as well.
Okay. So you're comfortable that those treatment systems, when that effluent finds its way into the groundwater, is going to be reasonably clean?
Yeah, because basically, when you're infiltrating, you have to remove 44% of the total suspended solids. Between his deep sump catch basin and his proprietary treatment unit, he removes more than that, and then he's also going in the isolator row, so he's removing more than he's required to before it gets infiltrated.
Okay. Any questions from the board? This one?
No.
I did have one thing that I want to open up to the audience, and I did send you an email on this. On the westerly side of the property and the northerly side of the property, you've got grading that potentially could impact both abutters based on the fact that we don't know exactly what the top of the septic system elevation is going to be.
Oh, we do.
So-
It's on here. It's all been.
But that hasn't been approved. I know you're still looking for variance, so we're in the same scenario. So if nothing changes, you've still got grading that potentially could put effluent, I believe that's country code property, except for on the north side, that's Mr. Tonolo's property. So how are you going to be assured that you've got, it looks to me, probably around 20 feet of grading that's heading off-site? And you just made a comment that the way you got it designed, it blows off-site.
Yeah, well, there's always going to be overlay flow that comes off a project.
In this,
We're reducing the amount of flow that's coming off, as we explained.
My concern, and I think the concern of those butters, is that they don't want any water from this site going on their property. The site's gonna take 15,000 yards of material. It's coming up 4 feet. I think they need to be assured that in a massive rain, I mean, that area I'm assuming is gonna be grass, nothing leaves the site.
Yep. So in the 100-year storm, we calculated that 2.58 cubic feet per second come off of this site in this direction. And the proposed condition is going to be 1.07, so that's less than half. We're reducing it more than half. So what's happening-
These are proposed numbers.
Yes.
Okay.
What's happening in here is this site is higher than our site. We are raising our site as well to about the same elevation. They're 76 on the top of their system, septic system. We're 76 at the top of ours. This is going to create a swell right in here.
But I see
Water from
it.
their site's going to hit this grading that we're doing. and-
So where you just
Yeah,
pointed to
it's
76, what's the next line down? Is that a 74? No, go up.
No.
Go up to where you said the top of your septic system. So you go down,
76.
keep going down.
75, 74, 73.
Okay, so you got a 73 there. So
That's where the
what you're
73
saying is some of his effluent is heading in your direction. What's the
It's
bottom,
runoff.
what's the bottom elevation of the proposed elevation on your site?
73.
Okay, so you're saying that's going to be equal, that if runoff from his property and runoff from these properties come together, you're gonna have a little lake or
No,
pond.
we're going to have a swell.
You're gonna have a swale, but you're gonna have a swale. That doesn't indicate you're having a swale on your property, not on his property.
Where that grade hits there, that creates a swell. Goes back around like that. This is 73 existing right here as well.
So,
So 73 contour goes around like this.
so what's the next line in? You got a at the lot line is a what contour?
74.
Okay, what, at the lot line, what is that?
73.
That's a 73.
And this is a 73.
Okay, so it's flat.
Existing. So that's a 73 existing.
You got a 73 existing, what's the proposed contour at the bottom of the slope near the lot line? That's my question.
73.
So in that particular area at both lot lines, it's flat.
They're going to come together, but it's going to be a swell because the grade continues down in this direction.
So who owns the
We got
property?
74 right here that ties in. So this is our 74 we're proposing right here. And the 75 comes way back, go here. Beyond where the wall is. So.
Okay, so the property that's down here, just hold on a second, the property that's over here, is that country club also? That one there?
This one or this one?
That one, when you just pointed it first.
This is the country club.
And then north of that, country club? No, is that, I can't read it.
J LLC.
Okay, so that's the country club. And then north of that would be the liquor store property?
Yep.
Shelby.
Okay. I don't know if I sent you the email. I sent Dave an email. I did someone out. That concerns me that potentially you could have some runoff. You know, I only had a couple of concerns. One was the amount of fill, and one was that runoff. But I
For the
can.
most part, the runoff is going to flow in that direction.
But yeah, it's going to flow in that direction, but we need to maintain it on site.
We don't.
The area in itself has been very problematic over the years.
So this is our site. These are the existing drainage areas that we have right now today before any development's happening. All this water runs off in this direction. So we're reducing that overland flow to just this area. The rest of it we're all containing in here and infiltrating.
Can you bring that
What
page
are the
back?
existing-
Just hold on, Joe. Just, so, this bottom line below the infiltration basin there, is that the wall? You got a wall there. You got a property line, is that the wall?
On here,
Yes, right there where your finger is.
there's a wall here.
Okay. And that wall was approximately, well, I can't see it from here, but it was 4 to 5 feet above grade in the front. Is it the same distance there? Elevation above grade?
It's more like 6 feet, right around here.
So you got 6 feet high.
But this is all pavement area, that's all being captured. It's either going to this basin here,
So
or these
you-
basins down here.
You're gonna have some sort of a berm to contain all of the surface runoff from the parking area.
Parking area is all, and the roof, it's all contained. There's curbing and everything that keeps it from, there'll be no pervious areas that run off the site uncontrolled, because that's one of the stormwater management standards, and we can't do that. We have to treat it.
So potentially, the area that would be concerning would be where the septic system is.
That's grass area, that's all
Okay.
surface runoff from vegetated areas.
Okay. Pat, do you agree, then I'll get to you, Joe. I've seen probably a half a dozen plans and I haven't seen the last one, so there is a berm, that totally encapsulates the parking areas?
Yeah, all
Okay.
of the paved surface goes through the stormwater system. The only runoff, as Greg just mentioned, is that triangle where the septic system is. That will flow, some of it, I believe, actually flows toward the parking lot, but some of it flows off-site. Again, what the standard is he cannot increase the flow off-site from existing conditions. By reducing that area that flows off-site by about, I would say, 2/3 anyway, he reduces the runoff off-site. And his calculations show that. That was the 2.58 versus the 1.07 that he mentioned earlier. Today, it's 2.58 CFS. Under proposed condition, it's 1.07, so it's less than half of what flows off today.
Okay, so for the audience in English, what you're saying is that the larger number is currently the amount of effluent that's traveling across the property line. And by raising this elevation up 5 feet, it's going to reduce it.
It's going to reduce it because he's capturing the majority of the site and putting it into the groundwater. So it won't run off the site. It's going to be recharged back into the ground.
But I'm talking more specifically where the septic area is. And I understand where the building is.
I guess by virtue of raising this area, doesn't mean that we'll have more runoff. You know, the
Well, it's just the,
air will be
yeah,
flat.
it's the intensity of runoff that concerns me.
When it rains, it's top down. It's, you know, how much water is falling on
Yeah.
the surface, whether it's pervious, grass, or woods, or impervious.
Mr. Tanal, just identify yourself.
All right, so I'm North of Butter. I'm Joe Tonello from Shelby Plaza in Halifax.
Okay.
Can we start with what the elevations are today on that property?
On your property,
No, on yours.
we have.
Before fill, before you start filling
Well,
stuff.
built to 73 here. So right here is elevation 74, and this is 73. Goes all around 72,
And what do you say the top of my septic system is today?
So I'm saying.
76.
Okay, just so that everybody understands, you got a 73, so you're telling us now that the water runs south, currently runs south.
Yeah, runs this direction. Southwest.
All right, so my system though is 5 feet above the parking lot. I just had it replaced. And there's no way there's only 3 feet from the top of my system to the existing property there right now.
Well, the property's a little bit lower than the property back. Actually, no.
Well, I'm talking about the back where the septic system is.
Okay.
There's no way there's only a 3 foot difference from the top of my septic system to what the elevation is today on that property. I will guarantee you that. Because I stand on your property, my septic system's over my head. I'm a lot taller than 3 feet.
Okay.
So that's an
When was that work
incorrect.
done?
Huh?
When was that work done?
Last summer. I spent $180,000 to have that done. And your groundwater is only about 2 feet below that, and I had to. So if you're telling me the top of my septic, you either have the wrong number on the top of my septic, or you have the wrong number on your original plan right now, guaranteed. Because I'm telling you, I mowed it today, I know what the distance is.
You know, you allow a survey to go out there. and-
Absolutely.
It's not-
I'm
I
not,
don't think it's an issue.
no,
but-
I'm not here to
Right.
stop this. I'm here to make sure it doesn't impact me. My belief is, if it's your property, you should do what you want.
If your
Okay,
septic
one at a
is
time.
higher, then it is protected because it's even higher than what we're doing here.
But you're bringing it up 5 feet.
But we're not right above. I mean, saying 76 there, we have 77, like 1 foot difference. But if you're saying it's no 2
But-
feet above that, then you're still higher than us, so. not.
No, if I'm 76 and you're going to 77, you're gonna be a foot taller than I am now.
Yeah, when we meet the grades at your property line.
The survey was performed before his septic.
It's my
Just shut
replacement.
up, Phil. Hold on.
It's-
Okay, okay, hold on. Just hold on a second, Pat. Let's get Joe's question answered.
So we have to meet the grade at your property line, that's what we're doing. 73?
The survey was done.
But from the property line to the chest.
No.
Did this grade, this little.
Gentlemen,
No.
Joe.
just come back to the, we have someone's gonna be taking minutes and they can't tell what's
So-
going up there.
My thing is, I'm having a problem with what you're telling me existings are and what is existing on mine. That's number one. Number two, no one's telling us how many parking spots are going to be on this property.
Okay, we'll get to that. Okay, so let's, how do you want to address
And
the
then-
elevation? My concern is only to make sure that no water from this project goes on your property.
Or the other
It's
side.
kind of
Or
irrelevant.
the other side. They're gonna have a 6-foot wall in their yard now?
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part on this side. So.
On the south side.
We have a 3-foot wall here, it's the highest it is.
That's on your
That's
side.
abutting my side.
3.5 feet, that's 75 to 75.
So that wall is gonna be as tall as what my septic system is now? By
Yep.
minus 0.5 feet.
Probably,
So you're gonna have the numbers don't match there. Because I go, off my parking lot, I go down 2 feet to level out to where you are now. You know, the numbers aren't matching. I'm just, that needs to be resurveyed and the numbers need to be corrected, first of all. And again, I'm not here pro or cons, I'm just here for Shelby Plaza. And when I looked at it, it doesn't make sense, but I'd like to know too, at this point, how many parking spots are there?
Okay, let's get to the grade elevation. I think Pat had a comment and then I'll have you answer that.
Yeah, so the notes on the existing conditions survey plan say that it was a survey performed between October 2022 and January 2023. So if his system was done in 2023, it's likely higher than that elevation 76. So.
Did I answer your question, Joe?
No, because it's supposedly the
Just
same
come
height
on,
as
Joe,
it was.
come on back up.
It was just a remove and replace. I don't believe it went any higher than what it was
Okay.
prior to.
I'm not sure, did you take your elevations based on surveying equipment you use? Okay. Did you go on to the other property? You don't know?
I'm not,
Okay.
I was in the field group right there. But
Okay.
I would assume that in order to get those elevations of the property line, that they did.
Okay. I'm wondering what's the impact? I mean, we can have them go out there and do it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just
But I'm
want,
wondering what's the impact? I think the ultimate goal is to make sure that anything from this site doesn't go on yours.
Yeah,
right.
I think that's the key to it. Whether the elevation's 76 or 77, and sometimes these elevations can be off a foot because the computer generates the lines in between, so they don't take a shot every 25 feet. So I think he's got the same concerns I do. To me, there should be a swale in between the properties, but
There is. The way that that's what I'm explaining, the way that this grade ties in, this proposed grade ties into this grade, creates a swell. So 74. That flows right down to the property line.
Pat, do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So I think for Mr. Tenalo, there shouldn't be any impact on his property from the septic system once it's determined the maximum height of the system. And we don't know what that is.
But it's gonna impact the groundwater levels at some point, all of us putting water in back there, let's face it.
Yeah, okay, just, Joe, back up. Just identify yourself again.
Joe Tonello again from Shelby Plaza. So at this point, his septic's gonna abut my septic, and I already put a boatload of water in the ground for that building. I don't know how many bedrooms are going in here on this site. Do we know that answer?
Is it 30 units, and asphalt parking?
Yep. no, I just, 30 units and how many one bedrooms, how many two bedrooms? Are they all two bedrooms? What-
No, it was a mixture, you know.
It's a mix of ones and twos. The bedroom counts on the plans?
I don't think the bedroom counts on this plan.
There's nothing on, there's no septic plans that are involved. There's no, I didn't see any design flow. So I think he's got a legitimate question. And the other question too you want to know is how many parking spaces?
There's
Bear in mind, the parking spaces aren't under our jurisdiction.
Nope, I know.
34 uncovered spaces and 12 in the garage. Plus, across the street, 14 spaces. Right
But you-
here.
So you're proposing that 55 and over cross from 266 to 265? And down, and a 5-foot elevation? Are you gonna put stairs down to the street? I mean,
Yeah,
that, so that, you know,
So
that's,
it's just- the problem is, there's a multitude of jurisdictions. But that's an issue, and
should have gone.
that goes in front of the planning board. Unfortunately, we need to see, to make sure that everything that falls from the sky doesn't go onto your property, doesn't go on Route 58, and doesn't go into any abutters of property, and is treated accordingly. That's our jurisdiction. If the planning board hasn't closed this, then, you know, that's
Well,
a good
I
question. That
just
was a
have-
question that I had because of, you know, the slope of the driveway, the number of stairs going up to the elevation, and handicap across the street.
So just, if they were, all 30 units were one bedrooms, and we know we're not, and that, what'd you say, there's 38 parking spots, so a husband and wife only, one of them can have a car?
No, there's 46
Okay,
parking spaces.
hold on. We're getting away from, I
Yeah.
understand. his-
Well, I'm trying to see how much drainage from parking is going to go into those infiltrators, which is gonna go into the ground.
Okay.
Short answer is it's approved by plan.
Yeah, Pat can cover that. We can't go over the,
The whole plan.
yeah. Unfortunately, we're limited to the drainage. So, Pat, again, you double checked all the math.
Correct.
Are you comfortable that the infiltration system that they designed in the back and the two down at the street are sufficient to accommodate the impervious areas, the roof, sidewalks, driveway, garages?
Yes, all impervious surfaces, all proposed impervious surfaces on site will discharge to those infiltration systems.
Okay.
They're all captured and directed to those systems.
Okay. Joe, I think we've answered all the questions that we can at this meeting.
At this point, for runoff and drainage is what,
Correct.
okay.
I understand today that the planning board did not close their hearing on this, so that's,
Yes,
if
on
they,
266
hold
we
on.
did.
So what you can do is double check with the planning board to see, they're the ones that have to address the crosswalk and all that. Okay, it's true.
Can I ask what the date is on this revision?
July 29th.
And you did
Per Board
some,
of Health comments.
okay. So you did changes to elevation and different things like that? Okay. I think you should be coming in front of the planning board for a modification of your site plan.
Approval?
Okay, and we already did approve this. I didn't, but we didn't approve this, and one of the reasons we didn't have all our comments in. So that was one of the reasons I stated no. So that needs to come back to us for site plan modification. And also, what is your snow removal?
So there is a limited area on the site for snow removal, but we will be, our snow removal plan is to truck it across the street to the 265 property, because there's plenty of room on the 265 property for snow storage.
Okay,
We have limited areas, you know, around.
okay, that can't be done. Okay, you can't remove the snow from one site to the other. Any snow that comes off that site has got to go to a facility that accepts it. You can double check DEP regulations on that.
Okay, we'll look at that.
And although snow location, and I know the original plan, and this is what's kind of confusing, there's so many plans around. The original plan showed a snow location, which was on top of the septic systems. septic tanks, which did make a lot of sense, and I guess that's been changed. That's why I'm a little uncomfortable with approving a plan that we know needs to be changed, and you can check with DEP regulations on the snow. Do we have any other abutters? I know that we've had, is there anybody, any other abutters that want us?
Well,
If you don't mind, sir, only because we have somebody remotely taking minutes. Just identify yourself and where you are.
My name is Howard Eastman, and I live at 224 Montponton Street.
Which would be just south of that or down further?
South, it's 6 houses from the corner,
Okay.
from the intersection.
Okay.
They say
Okay.
5, 6.
Yeah, but whatever. Okay, whatever.
And further south in the woods.
I'm concerned about the water runoff and whatnot, but I don't know if we're far enough away, but I just don't want the basement to flood again. I mean, we bought the place in '83, and 2 days later, I get 6 inches in the basement. So I'm just concerned about where the water is.
Okay, thank you. You know, I don't know if a monitoring well is appropriate in here. You don't have any room for anything there. Let me just see, is there any other abutters that are directly affected by this? Any other comments? It's true.
We received pictures of, the planning board received pictures. Did you receive them that we were to share with you on 266 Montponton Street from the abutter directly south?
No.
You should probably ask for those. Also, have you received letters and emails about this property from other members of the town?
Okay. We did not receive any pictures, not to my knowledge. I did receive an email from someone on Oak Street that was concerned. I think you got that. Unfortunately, I didn't bring it with me. I don't think. I did print it. And we can, again, I think this one should be continued until we know where everything is going to go. And I'll send that individual an email back. If they want it read into the record, I'd be more than happy to. Any questions? We got a lot to absorb.
Yeah, quick question about the runoff, near the top of the property where the grass is and everything else. It's going left, it looks like it's going towards the golf course. Since you're condensing it, because it used to go smoothly to your property, you're condensing in the swells. How much is the swells gonna pick it up? I know some will still run off until the golf course, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's where it kind of goes now. It's gonna be from the top of the slope here and then whatever on this property.
It goes here.
It goes this way.
Any other questions? How do you folks want to address the amount of trucks that it's going to take to accommodate this? This might be just a little bit beyond the purview of the commission. I've messaged the police chief and there are some concerns. Based on my numbers, it's going to take 750 trucks to fill the site. And then probably another 300 or so for the development. Your line of sight from that traffic light is not the best. I think you need to come up with a plan, and I think send that email out. And I think that is going to be part of the conditions. I mean, we can't have half a dozen trucks backed up, and that's going to cause a major problem at that intersection. And I don't know which way the trucks are going to be coming from, but I think you agree at 15,000 yards, that's 750, somewhere in that vicinity.
I haven't done the calculation, but it's
Okay.
It's gonna be a lot trucking.
Okay. I think, and I hope the commission, I think we need to get that addressed. Again, I think you need to take a look at I want to look at a final plan, whatever that final plan is, to make sure every bit of rainwater stays on that particular site. Any other questions, sir?
Fred Corrigan, Rosewood Drive in Halifax.
Mhm.
Relative to some of the traffic conditions, even though it's not in your ball of wax here right now, but it is affecting the whole property. Meeting with the Halifax Safety Committee, the speed limit on that section of road is going to be dropped to 25 miles per hour very soon, from Parsons Street all the way to the intersection, headed north. So that means your flow of traffic is going to be slowed down. The speed limit right there now is 35, and it's going to get dropped to 25. From Parsons Lane all the way to the intersection.
58 in Warsack.
On 58, and there's some other changes coming up in the business district also, but that affects this property here.
Okay.
And adds to the safety of the traffic flowing in there and the crisscrossing of traffic from one complex to another.
Okay, thank you. I believe you've addressed the crosswalk issue with the planning board.
Okay.
Pat, did you review that, if you don't mind? I'm getting a little offside here, but, you know, it is a concern with some of the audience members. You addressed the issue on,
Yeah, they submitted a plan from the traffic engineer that shows the crosswalk. They're gonna have solar operated blinking yellow lights there for when somebody presses the button to cross. And they're gonna have advanced warning signs saying that there's a crosswalk ahead. So they did all of that based on the traffic engineer's recommendations, and they've committed to install that infrastructure to make that a safer cross there.
okay, thank you.
Originally they also had the crosswalk kind of skewed, and they straightened it out, so it's
Okay.
straight across the road.
Greg, can you just go back to the front of the building? Are you going to be proposing some sidewalks? One of the concerns I had originally is it looked like you've got some work that you're going to be doing in the public way.
Yep, and that's part of the municipal development agreement.
Okay. So are you creating, in front of that building from the north side, it looks like there's an island that goes out into the public way, and then
So the walkway.
on the north side, so up north, or up a little further, that's, I'm not
So
sure.
there's an existing sidewalk on the other side of the entrance for this plaza,
Mhm.
and we're gonna connect with that short.
So you're gonna construct a sidewalk on Route 58?
Correct. Along here too, and then also down to the housing authority property.
Okay, Pat, if you could, there should be no impact on the sidewalk. Where it's in a public way, I'm sure they're gonna grade that so the effluent would go into the two current basins that are in there. I think there's a basin somewhere where it says street, and then there's another basin somewhere down where Mount Ponce it. No, stay on this page if you don't mind. There's a basin at your entrance, somewhere around in there,
around
right?
there.
Is there another basin down further?
There.
So the sidewalk, anything caught on the sidewalk should go into those?
Correct. Yeah, sidewalks are typically pitched toward the road, so any runoff from the sidewalk gets captured in the roadway drainage system.
Okay.
On the sidewalk.
Are the sidewalks,
You wanna
the Joe Tonello from Shelby Plaza again, are the sidewalks gonna have granite curbing like the, making the rest of the state roads?
Yeah, as required by.
I had to put in 18-inch granite curbing
Right, on yours, okay.
all the way, 660 feet of it. So there'll be, it's gonna match kind of my sidewalk on
Yep.
continuing to, okay, thank you.
Question. Are there any utility poles in the middle of these sidewalks? To me, that's very annoying. I saw some handicapped people on Plymouth Street today going around telephone poles. You know as well as I know what I'm talking about. Are there any telephone poles in this section? Anything in the sidewalk?
No, looks like it's just outside. looks at it.
Okay.
It's behind the sidewalk, so this, the overhead wire here, runs right behind it.
In listening to some of the planning board meetings, the neighbor on the south, who addressed any concerns, I don't know that that gentleman's here, I'm not sure who he is, but there's no concerns of any runoff coming off of your property to the neighbors to the south.
It's all part of the whole drainage design.
All right, do we, ma'am? Do you have a question?
No.
Okay. Any other comments? Any other concerns? Again, oh, I'm sorry, Mr.
Has this been flagged for wetlands? Isn't that part of the conservation job?
Yes, it is part of the conservation job, and there is no wetlands.
Okay, who told you that?
Okay, it's true, I'm not gonna debate the issue.
Has it been
Look,
done?
it's true, I'm not gonna debate the issue.
Eddie, has this been
Okay.
done?
There is no wetlands in the site, there's no indication of wetlands, and it has not been flagged,
Who
to my
told you that?
knowledge.
You haven't been told by a professional. Have you done the job of the town of Halifax that requires you to do so?
Any other questions? Any other comments in the town? Okay, again, and I hope the board concurs, we need a final plan.
Okay.
I think we need to address, I think we're the last stop in the whole process. If the planning board has not approved this,
We just
Yeah.
then,
Planning board has
then,
approved.
okay. I get mixed up with one and the other, okay? And one I call the Peach Farm, this is the Peach Farm. So I think we need to get all the approvals. Again, I think you need to address the traffic and how you're gonna handle that on a temporary basis, whether you're gonna put warning
That's something
signs.
we can address with the police chief.
Well, no, you can send to the commission. I have talked to the chief, and he deferred our experience to try to handle this. We know it's gonna be on a temporary basis, but you can't have, all of a sudden, you clear this site, and you got 50 trucks lined up on Route 58, and I don't know which direction they're coming from, but whatever direction they're coming from. If they come from the north, they're gonna be blocking the liquor store. And I believe there's a little bend, Mr. Tunnell, was there a little bend in the road there? The line of sight is limited.
A little bit, very little, but yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
so,
I don't think this falls under our jurisdiction.
the-
Another thing is, if the Zoom work, usually they're gonna have to hire a detail cop,
yeah.
99% of the time if they're on the road itself.
The chief's email, and I'll send it to the board members, is he asked to address it. I know our conditions are limited,
Yeah.
but I think as the last group that's gonna look at that, we don't want a situation where there's 40 trucks lined up, nobody can get into his establishment, or they're lined
Put
up.
something together.
Okay, but just get us a plan
Yep.
that the chief is gonna be happy with, and then you guys will contact him, or whoever the contractor is.
We'll absolutely reach out and meet.
Okay,
for sure.
you know, whether it's gonna be some signage or however you want
If they
it.
go across the street, because they're gonna start this project first, right?
Yeah, and,
We will put a plan together for the fill, for sure.
Okay. good.
Yep, not a problem.
Ms. Chu?
I believe we already determined that there's a different site plan than what was approved by the planning board, so therefore they need a modification.
Okay. All right. Anything else from anybody? Okay. Again, I'm gonna request you to do a continuance, we'll continue it.
Yeah, we would like to force the continuance to 27.
Okay.
Yeah, Ben, is this also September 3rd, the final?
Yeah, well, with a written continuance, it'll extend our timeframe an additional 21 days.
Okay.
So,
Do you want us to write that into the request?
no, all you need to do is request it, that'll fall in line with our regulations. Okay, we'll extend it out that time period. I don't know that with the information that you're giving us that we can make a decision, but we'll probably close the hearing and take it under advisement, and then the board can discuss it.
Okay.
But we do know that once the hearing is closed, that we've got the 21 days to issue any conditions, special conditions,
Okay.
or approvals. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we continue 266 Monpont Street stormwater management to August 27th, 2024.
I'll second the motion.
A second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, 3-0. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Let's go into the rest of
Okay,
it.
we'll take a quick 5-minute break. I'm sorry, okay?
Can't think of any, do you have any?
What question now?
Thank you for being interested.
Hi, have you ever been on any of the committees?
I have not.
Okay. Would you, your interest in the conservation?
I'm concerned about the environment and the wetlands, town of Halifax. And for people.
I know Paul, I think he's been 30 years? How long you been in town?
38.
38 years.
38 years.
So, this is your first stint of active, any type
Yeah,
of service?
it is.
No, thank you for,
Retired, so
Yeah, yeah.
retired.
We need the help, we need the different views, different perspectives, everybody's got a little different idea.
and you'll be making 90% of the meetings, we hope?
I don't see any reason why not.
Okay, yeah, no.
That's
We're just
good.
making
Well, I
sure
think,
that-
are you still working at Opal?
No, I'm retired.
He's retired,
Oh, okay.
okay, all right.
All right.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we
So if
can-
anybody doesn't have any questions, I'd be looking for a vote to,
Did you have any questions for us?
No, I've been attending the meetings and watching what goes on, and we're getting a feel for it.
I would be looking for a motion, if you want, I'll make it myself, to send to the selectmen our recommendation to have Paul Doucette be a member of the commission. Or you want, I'll make that
Yeah, you
motion?
can make the
Yeah.
motion.
Okay, all right.
I'll make the motion to send a letter to the select board for Paul Toussaint to be a member of the Conservation Commission.
And I'm looking for a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor, please vote. Aye. Okay, Paul, thank you very much. It'll be going to the selectmen, which I believe 2 weeks. We don't have a James Cronin here, no?
James Cronin,
No.
but he had sent
He's
you,
interested in a bunch of committees.
Yes, and I'll tell you what I did too, just so you know, is I reached out to him and I set up a tentative meeting Monday. I'll stop by. Kind of, okay, thank you. Okay, to kind of see, I mean, if you look at his resume, he ticked all the boxes.
yeah.
And what I wanted to do was just give him an idea as to what Concom does to make sure that it was a fit for him, or should he be looking at maybe zoning board of appeals or something like that. But he had a family emergency, so we had to.
If he is still interested, we do have an associate positions.
Correct. What-
And then if something opened up on the board, if he was interested, he could then move into that.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
do you have anything for me?
All I can tell you is that I call Mr. Haywood every week. And he was meeting, last week, he was going to some meeting to meet with whoever's doing the paving. Now, I saw some equipment at the school. I don't know if that's related, and I was in town hall for a few hours today, and I was out of town, so I will find out. But trust me, we're right on the case.
Okay, good,
Okay.
good, then I can go.
Yeah, that's 340 Plymouth Street, by the way.
You should just go to his house for breakfast and lunch.
Okay.
Okay. Discussions, lot, oh, he's not here. It says a lot 11 Palmer Mill Road. It is lot 11, the enforcement order. That has not, there's been no compliance with that at all. I did send out a letter requesting that a plan be submitted. Nothing has been done.
Were we gonna have that checked out by anybody to see?
Here's our problem. Was Ecosystems noticed it? Ecosystems has been involved with the other lot, which is I think lot 12. Lot 11, we don't have anything in front of us, so we can't send it out to be reviewed.
Okay.
The only thing that we can do is ask for compliance with the enforcement order. So if it's the board's wish, I can send another letter out.
We could just send out another letter certified, and we could maybe add that if they don't come forth, then we can start I don't know, want to start fines, but we could at least say that, so maybe we'll get their attention.
I'll draft something. I'm not a big fine person because
I
I
know.
think that that's counterproductive. And as you know, you got $150 for one and you spent $3,000 to get it. So, but yeah, I'll come up with some sort of letter, that he's going to have to come in next meeting with some sort of.
Yeah. It'd be in their interest if they're probably gonna come forth with something in the future.
Correct. You know, they're gonna wanna build something, so, okay, I'll get something drafted. Let me just update 285 Elm Street. Kathy and I reviewed the file. I did reach out to the town administrator regarding legal on this one, and I did not follow through on it. But there's been a new filing, come in today on 285 Homes, and I think we can address previous issues with this filing. That's what I'm hoping, instead of trying to get involved with any convoluted litigation.
Yeah, I was thinking you had to come from our office for some type of plan.
Correct. There's been a new site plan submitted. I did review the stormwater application. It came in via email the other day, and then it came into the office today. So I think we can hopefully address Home Street then.
Okay.
Okay.
340 Plymouth Street?
340, just explain that.
Yep.
111 River Street. Did Peggy put anything in your folder regarding 111 River Street?
It's on the meeting, it's on our next meeting, it says.
Okay, it is. Okay,
This
let me.
first hearing listed on next meeting.
Okay, well, let me just bring you up to date because I sent a letter and I thought she was going to include that in. But let me bring you up to date. We did not have a review person chosen. We do have ecosystems now. I had a meeting August 1st with Fire Chief, Police Chief, Sergeant from the Bomb Squad, representative of Weston Sampson Engineering Company. We met at the police station. She made a presentation as to what she wants to do. We stepped back for a second. We got the whole notice of intent, and I asked her to come up with a narrative. Did you guys get that? 3-page narrative. I'll make sure that Peggy sends it out.
Yeah.
That outlined what they wanted to do in civil terms. We all discussed that narrative. The chiefs and the sergeant and myself all have come to the conclusion that we're not sure there's munitions there. We know there's munitions, whether they're alive or not. Long story short, we want a plan to notify the butters. We want a plan in place that if the munitions are found, that they're going to be stored properly in a secure facility. How they're going to store them, we want that from them.
They're going to ignite them on the, usually
Well,
they ignite them on the property if it's some kind of.
correct. I mean, the representative from Weston and Sampson said they're going to take them somewhere. You can't take them anywhere. And luckily,
There's a lot of space there you can do it. It's not-
yeah, luckily the sergeant that spoke with us has been working with the Hanover site. So he said he started in 2016, he thought it was 2 weeks, and they've been there ever since. And I'm familiar with some of the problems they had over there with notification, so, and I met with the town administrator today, so we're gonna be looking for a plan in place. We don't need it, and we don't need it, but we want a plan in place. The only thing they really haven't decided is whether we want personnel there when they dig or not. So we're waiting for ecosystems to come up. He'll review that plan and then come up with whether or not the board is gonna want someone there when they dig it. They alluded, Weston and Sampson, and none of us agreed. They wanted to go in, find it, dig it up, and fill the hole. And again, my problem with that is, if you did that and it was an emergency, we didn't have fire personnel there, it could be 15 or 20 minutes. So the general consensus above, with officials, and I think the town administrator is, we're gonna require someone there. So, I'll make sure she gets you all of those letters. Now, what's the update on that? And now I'm gonna be looking to pay some bills.
Can we do them all at once, one motion? We used to do that.
I don't, that's fine. Okay, somebody wanna,
I go to motion that we pay the bills?
I second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye? 3-0? Okay, CC bills to be paid. Let's do this. Ooh, got more than one in there?
Oh, is it separate?
Oh, I didn't sign it either, so go ahead, you sign it now.
Oh.
I'll sign it that page.
So we have a full board potentially soon.
Maybe. I did get a message, I don't know if it's on here or not. I did ask that, I don't have it here, but I'm not that good with this. I did ask that Peggy contact Ms. King, and I did get a message coming in the building that she was gonna call, but I haven't heard. So yeah, hopefully we'll have
A full board.
a full board at some point. If we get a little more interest in, I think, okay.
I'll put a motion that we approve the minutes for June 25th, 2024.
Okay, did everybody review the minutes? She sent them out?
Yeah.
I did have some changes, I don't know if you saw them. There was a vote taken on one of them that was continued. I think it was 105 Palmer Mill Road, and I believe she changed that. So if there's,
Oh, okay.
there was a vote that it approved the NOI, but we didn't. So I did look at the notes in my notes and listen to the meeting, so we're okay. So I would be, these we should do one at a time.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, yeah.
Okay, June 25th, we had why is it so long?
Yeah, so who is there? Was everybody there?
Ed Lane was absent, June 25th.
Oh, that's the long one, that was the midnight one.
Oh, yeah. Good one to miss.
I think that's one.
Okay, we're gonna have to hold this one, because two of us, let me just see, 3 presents a quorum.
But Melanie is no longer a member. Was
Correct.
Kim there at that meeting?
Yeah.
Kim was.
Okay, so we have to wait until
Yeah,
Kim's here.
we have to wait, we have to wait on June 23rd. If not, if she doesn't show up at the next meeting, and I'll do some quick research, then we'll approve them. If somebody wants to fuss about them, that's, if somebody wants to file a complaint that there wasn't enough members, and that's up.
Well, there's enough on the board to approve and not approve, but the signatures you need.
Yeah, the only thing is, we can't have you technically sign because you weren't here.
No, I won't
Yeah.
sign, but you can.
Okay, the other thing you could do, but now, you know, there's things called the Mullen Rule, but I don't think we should do that on meeting minutes. I mean, you could listen to the meeting, but that's okay. Okay, I'm looking for a motion on the July 29th,
July 9th.
July 9th meeting minutes.
Put a motion that we approve the minutes for July 9th, 2024.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Okay, I'm gonna have you sign that one then. You were here.
And July 23rd, everything?
Yep, as soon as she signs that, I would be looking for a motion. If everybody's happy with the July 23rd meeting minutes?
Put a motion that we approve the July 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
That's the minutes.
I don't have a piece of paper. Let me put it in there.
Kathy? And I believe we got everything, right? I think we're all set.
I think we are all set. Discussions, actions to be taken. I will mix things up. Okay, it being 9:09, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I put a motion that we adjourn for the evening.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.